No surprise that tuition's high.
And we just keep feeding the problem.
Naomi Riley wrote a book about how colleges waste money.
However, colleges decide to hike their prices. The federal government says, okay, we'll contribute a little bit more.
Today, almost half of college students get federal aid.
We've got to make sure that education is affordable and available to everybody who wants to go.
People are looking to the government to help them out of this mess, but the government got them into this mess.
Because the government pays for everything.
Yeah. The cost of colleges is it's not just this number that comes out of thin air. Colleges know that they can keep increasing the cost because the government says we will keep paying for it. So if the government said, we are not going to keep making up the difference no matter what you add to your costs, the costs would start to stop or they would start to go down.
But progressives say government should spend more.
There's no evidence that college loans or any type of student aid increases tuition at public universities.
Oh, come on. If you give people money, tuition goes up.
It doesn't, actually. And
Tamara Draut works for Demos, a think tank that President Obama found.
Colleges have been forced to really cut to the bone. If you look at what has happened after this recession, absolutely, state funding has been steadily and pretty aggressively cut.
What do you mean cut? It's gone up from $55 billion to almost $80 billion. Up isn't a cut.
It has gone up in absolute terms because there are a lot more students that are being educated.
But
so
there
of
aren't
course
that many
we're
more
spending more.
Do you liberals live in a fantasy land?
There are a lot more students, John.
But
if you
not
look
enough
at
to make up with all the money you're throwing at them.
Per student amount of financial aid, particularly.
Today, students get an average $12,000 in federal and state aid, up from $7,000 in 1987.
Good morning, Mr. Vice President.
At least Vice President Biden understands that subsidies raise prices.
How do you feel about the idea that government subsidies by artificially increasing the availability of student loans is at least partially responsible for rising tuition costs?
Government subsidies have impacted upon rising tuition costs, and it's a conundrum here.
It sure is. Colleges now advertise lobster dinners and expensive dorms with luxury pools.
Pools and spas and fancy gym facilities and sushi for lunch. Isn't that where you'd like to take your next vacation?
Yes.
Every college you go to and you say, well, why do you spend so much money on this? And they say, well, we have to compete with the college down the street.
A terrific climbing tower, 42 feet, with a variety of lights on it so we can simulate different times of the day.
So the administrator says, good, I'll build a new rock wall.
I would love to know where all of these rock walls